Mr. President.
The Senator for Rhode Island.
Mr. President, I'm here to speak about the success of the Affordable Care Act in Rhode Island. In Rhode Island, it has been very well managed, and it has made a big difference in many, many lives. The marketplace plan that the Affordable Care Act set up in Rhode Island is called Health Source Rhode Island. And it has been well run, it has been successful, and for 2019, it has 34,533 people getting health insurance through the plan. We also expanded Medicare as the Medicaid as the Affordable Care Act allowed, and under the Medicaid expansion, 72,000 Rhode Islanders got coverage that they didn't have before. So if you put those two together, that's 106,000 plus Rhode Islanders who got the benefit and the comfort and the confidence of coverage for health care as a result of this bill. It's 10% of our population, and it has driven our uninsured numbers way, way down into low single digits, which has been a very big win for us. I'll also say that we've taken really good advantage of the accountable care organization provisions of the Affordable Care Act, with two of the best performing ACOs in the country as two of our lead primary care provider groups, Coastal Medical and Primary Care Partners. They are showing just terrific results as they are changing the way that they deliver care because they can do so, because we've changed the way that they can be reimbursed for care. That Rhode Island snapshot is part of a larger story of success. 11.5 million Americans around the country have enrolled in ACA marketplace insurance in 2019. 11.8 million Medicare beneficiaries, saved a total of over $26.8 billion on prescription drug costs. That's over $2,200 per senior. So that's something to celebrate. Unfortunately, it's still at risk in the courts. President Trump, this Republican administration, are still trying to knock it down. If they succeed, 133 million Americans with pre-existing conditions will be at risk of losing health care coverage protections. 156 million Americans with private or employer-sponsored insurance will lose the consumer protections in the ACA for preventive care, disallowing lifetime or annual limits, closing waiting periods to enroll, things that have really made a difference in people's lives. These are big numbers, and they add to a tremendous story of success, but behind the numbers are faces. Every one of those 34,533 Rhode Islanders who signed up and got health coverage through Health Source Rhode Island has their own story. And it's my privilege today to come to the floor of the United States Senate to tell the story of Bridget from Tiverton, Rhode Island. I can't tell it better than she does, so I will simply read her story. For the majority of my life, I have suffered from chronic pain. Though I am only in my 20s, I have suffered from acute arthritis in my left hip due to multiple surgeries to correct complications from a hip dysplasia surgery for almost 15 years. I was told for years that I was not a candidate for hip replacement, as I was still growing. So when I was finally developed enough and found a surgeon willing to perform the hip replacement surgery, my life felt like it was actually mine again. Last year, I finally was approved for a hip replacement. It has been a year since that day, and I thank God every day that I was able to receive the help I need. Without the hip replacement, I would still be living in bed and confined to a wheelchair or crutches. Without my coverage, the preventative care that ensured my health would not backpedal would have been gone. I cannot stress enough how terrifying the thought of losing the opportunity of living my life was. I would not wish this on anyone, especially a child without coverage, as I've been in their situation. Since my surgery, I've been able to hold my first full-time job. I've been able to consider going back to college. I have lived pain-free for the first time in practically my whole life. No one should have to struggle with chronic issues or be discriminated against because of pre-existing conditions. Every day, I grow stronger, and my voice, for those who are not as strong as I am now, grows louder. I will fight for my right to health care and for others who deserve the treatment they need for the rest of my life. Bridget, congratulations. Thank you. God bless you. And let us make sure that we do not let this administration tear down the millions of stories like Bridget's that they seek to undo with this reckless litigation. I yield the floor. I note the absence of a quorum.